Hi everyone, it's Pastor Smith here with a weekly update. And why do I have a happy birthday sign in my office? It's not my birthday, it's actually St. Paul's birthday this week. June 13th, 1858, St. Paul Lutheran Church and School was born. And so this year we are celebrating our 165th birthday. And God has blessed us so much, and He has blessed us to be a blessing in our community. And so I want to share with you here today a video that two of our 7th grade students in the digital journalism class, they made this video about the history of St. Paul and the impact that it's had here in Westlake and beyond. So without further ado, here is a video that we're going to show here on St. Paul's birthday.
Before the Civil War and even before Abraham Lincoln became president, St. Paul got its start. About 20 families living in North Dover, which is now Westlake, grew tired of making the long trip into Cleveland, so they formed St. Paul Evangelical Church on June 13, 1858.
When those first dozen families or so decided that they weren't going to make that trip down to West 28th Street every Sunday in their buggies, that they were going to start a church out here, it was to educate their children and to reach the other farmers with the gospel. And, you know, that's the same initiative that we need to have.
Around 1920, the first English services were introduced. Around the same time, electricity and technologies that are a part of our everyday lives were not yet invented. The first services of the church were in German and remained that way until around 1950.
And then for a while they had both, English and German.
They didn't have indoor plumbing, all right? There was always an outhouse, so you had to have an outhouse behind the school for the kids. There was no electric lights. So that meant, that's why we have daylight savings time, was so that the farmers could get their fields in and out. You didn't have telephones. You definitely didn't have cell phones. You know, and kitchens didn't have running water.
The church and school was first built near the corner of Dover Center and Detroit when Westlake was still called Dover. Later, the building moved to where St. Paul sits today. As the church was celebrating its 100th anniversary in 1958, the congregation decided to build a new 6-room school building. Here are some pictures of the church and school through the years, from how it looked in the beginning to how it was transformed and renovated to how it looks today.
The original school had 4 classrooms with about 80 students and 4 teachers. That meant that there were 2 or 3 grades in each classroom. And my daughter, who was a member here in kindergarten, was in a classroom, in the original 4 classrooms. She had 1st and 2nd grade in her class. And that didn't stop until almost, I want to say 1990.
Today in 2023, St. Paul's pastors consist of Pastor Smith, Pastor Greminger, and Pastor Bugler. The school has added another hallway, including a gymnasium, in 1974, which used to be the current STEAM lab. Later in 2000, the upstairs area of the building was added and now contains the upper grade classrooms. Before the installation of the upstairs classrooms, the rooms above the church were used for the upper grades.
History is made up of 2 words, His story. And it's all about the hand of God that has preserved not only these names and documents and pictures, but has preserved the doctrine, the heritage that that goes all the way back to the Scriptures, but certainly through the Reformation period, through people like Martin Luther and those who came after him.
St. Paul's vision continues from its start to reach out and teach the Word of God and care for all people.